We have some major breaking news this morning. It has been announced that Legacy Motor Club has officially obtained a temporary restraining order against Rick Ware Racing in regards to the lawsuit against Rick Ware. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive major breaking news this morning, as it has been announced that Legacy Motor Club has obtained a temporary restraining order against Rick Ware Racing in regards to the lawsuit between both of them. Here's what was reported by Bob Pockers this morning. Legacy has obtained a temporary restraining order in lawsuit versus Rick Ware Racing over agreement to sell charter to Legacy that Legacy Motor Club claims is to be sold after the 2025 season. TR Rolling redacts details, but his guess is to keep the charter from being allocated elsewhere for 2026 at the moment. This is a big deal in regards to 2026. So what has been going on between Rick Ware Racing and Legacy Motor Club? Well, it was announced on April 1st, which was April Fool's Day, that Legacy Motor Club was suing Rick Ware Racing in regards to a charter agreement that had not gone through. Legacy Motor Club claims that they had signed everything for the 2026 season and everything was going to be good to go for 2026. Well, Rick Ware Racing claims themselves that no, Legacy Motor Club is basically playing a fast one on them where they had originally agreed for the 2027 season. So the charter was, of course, going to be sold for the 2026 season or by 2027, but Rick Ware is, let's say, claiming that they were going to sell that charter for the 2027 season, while Legacy Motor Club says, no, you did not read the document. We had agreed on the charter purchase for 2026. It was also announced they were going to be filing a preliminary injunction in regards to Rick Ware Racing. So we've got two lawsuits going on currently at the moment, one between NASCAR, 2011 Racing, and Farmer Motorsports, which could have a big impact and deal in regards to that. We've also had some other details that have been released in regards to information on the lawsuit. Last night, it was reported by Jordan Bianchi how much the charter was sold from Legacy over to Rick Ware over to Legacy. Apparently, Legacy Motor Club had agreed to pay $45 million to Rick Ware Racing for that charter for the 2026 season. But Rick Ware apparently has backed out. They had agreed to started talking in early January, and they had agreed to deal about a month or so ago on March 3rd. Well, the team basically is trying to get the deal done at this particular moment in point. Well, Rick Ware Racing and the Rick Ware team is gone cold turkey, and both have been responding back and forth. This is a really, really big deal because Legacy Motor Club obviously has been talking about this for the last year or so, but they do want to become a three-car team. They want to expand and become a three-car team for the 2026 season and have continued to talk about that in recent years. While Rick Ware Racing, their team has kind of been falling back a little bit. We've had some responses from both organizations and teams. Legacy Motor Club has claimed that Rick Ware Racing has been flailing in the back of the field, while Legacy Motor Club has been improving as an organization. Now, there's been a lot of changes over Legacy Motor Club in recent years. Jimmy Johnson has taken over majority ownership of the program, and Nighthead Capital, a major agency in regards to funding and sponsorships, they joined up for funding and equity. And a big reason why they're getting this charter, looking to get this charter in the first place, is so they, like I said, can expand a three-car team. But bringing in an equity firm to really help the program is going to help the team in a pretty big way get that third charter for the 2026 or the 2027 season. Obviously, this is a really big thing because you think about both these organizations, right? Legacy Motor Club is a team that's been running in the back of the field. They really struggled in the 2024 season, but I will say in regards to Legacy Motor Club, they have shown a little bit more speed since Jimmy Johnson took more of an ownership role of the team, and we've seen him be a little quicker. John Nemechek is currently in the top 20 in standings, currently sitting 19th in the points, while Eric Jones is sitting inside the top 30 in standings, and had not been for the disqualification of Martinsville, Eric Jones, I believe, would be around 22nd or 23rd in points. So while they're not at that big step yet, they have taken a little bit of a step forward to show a little bit more pace and speed. You go back to last year, Nemechek was like 34th or 35th in the points. Well, Eric Jones was only about 28th or 29th, but he, of course, did have an injury after getting in that crash of Bubba Wallace at Talladega Super Speedway last year. So the big question we have to ask ourselves, because again, they paid $45 million, which shows that charters are going up. Well, you go back like 7 or 8 years years ago, Spire had apparently taken the BK Racing charter for like $5 million, I'm pretty sure, back in 2018. We all remember the Live Fast purchase with Spire where they spent $40 million. We thought we had two people purchasing that. Turns out it might have just been one group with Trackhouse and Spire really working together so they keep Zane Smith in that program and bring him over. And of course, they have a 3-car team now with the Stewart Haas Racing fire sale that happened where I think it was like $20 million each of those charters. But the charter prices are probably going to continue to rise and go up as time progresses and goes on. Now, there's a lot of theories in regards to what is happening with Legacy. Some have brought up the fact that maybe Kaz Grala could get this third seat for 2025, which, of course, is certainly possible, because I do think that Grala, with him being a reserve driver for the program, that would be certainly interesting. Some people like myself think that this could be an interesting theory that I have. It involves 2311 Racing in a way. Think about this. Corey Heim is currently under a development contract with 2311 Racing, and I think Corey Heim would be the guy that could go to this third seat if they're able to secure this third charter. Here's what I think. Corey Heim, we could see a partnership between 2311 Racing and Legacy for the year. Last year, Corey Heim was a reserve driver and development driver for their technical stuff for the 2024 season, but we know that Corey Heim has a development contract. Here's the issue and why Corey Heim can't go to 2311. There are 3 full-time drivers set for next year. Bubba Wallace, Riley Harris, and Tyler Reddick, to my understanding, all have multi-year contracts. Bubba's contract goes through 2026. Tyler Reddick has a contract through pretty much the rest of the decade, it seems like, and Riley Harris' contract goes through 2026, and I believe that the Hertz family is taking ownership and is a big part of why Riley ended up at 2311 in the first place. And then we don't even know what's going to happen with those charters because of the lawsuit going on between NASCAR, 2311, and Front Row. We, of course, have got the court date set for the appeal for the preliminary injunction from last year. We got that appeal coming up next month. And then you think about this as well. I think that if Corey Heim it could be like a partnership like last year we saw with Trackhouse and Spire, where Zane Smith got loaned out to Spire for a year. That's my theory. I also did see Private Porno, which is an industry insider. They brought up the potential possibility of getting a third car for Dodge. We know Dodge is likely coming back to NASCAR next year, 2026. We are expecting that they are going to have a Craftsman Truck Series program next year for 2026. We don't know exactly which teams are going over there, but I'd have to think ThorSport Racing will likely be going over there for the 2026 season. So I think that's very, very likely. I also throw out Nice Motorsports. But then you think about this, they may want to have a Cup program as early as 2027. They would have to have the bodies approved by the end of 2025 in September, which they've got time to do that at this point. They would have had to have the bodies approved by now for the 2026 season, and they're going to need time to test. But Legacy Motor Club is a third-tier Toyota team at the moment right now. So it would make a lot of sense if, let's say, Dodge does come up to the Cup Series in 2027 to have a third car available. Apparently, a lot of teams want to have these third cars, and if Trackhouse doesn't switch over from Chevrolet, like I think there's a chance that that could happen, because I don't think any of the drivers under contract with Chevrolet, I don't think Chastain, SVG, and especially Connor Zillage are just Chevy drivers. They're Trackhouse drivers currently at the moment, and I think Trackhouse would make the most sense, but you got to look at Legacy. I think Legacy wants to get to that top level again. It's been a long time since they've been a really, really good team, and I think that they would be really good if they were to be a team that could perhaps switch over to Dodge and that branding over there. So we're going to have to watch as time progresses, goes on with this story. We'll talk more about this story, but I think this is a really, really big deal, right? Because a temporary restraining order is a really big deal. Who would have thought we'd see a temporary restraining order in regards to the lawsuit? We haven't seen that with the 2311 and Front Row Motorsports lawsuit, and I think that it'll be something to keep your eyes out on for sure, because I know Legacy, they want to be good. Jimmy's trying to make the moves and correct moves to get this team in a really, really good position, but I'm just not exactly sure what's going to happen on that front. And you got to throw RFK in there too, right? Because let's say that the judge decides to give the win to Legacy Motor Club. Would RFK be affected? Ryan Preece apparently has a multi-year contract with RFK for this year and next year, but do they get that charter back for 2026, or do they lease out the charter that's owned by Cody Ware? Because I think Rick Ware could just exit the sport in the near future as well. If they lose the lawsuit, I would have to think that they're going to exit the sport more than likely. So again, we'll keep an update on the story as time progresses and goes on. We'll probably get more details released later today and information that comes out, but it's a pretty big deal that they have obtained a temporary restraining order for Legacy to obtain that restraining order against Rick Ware. I think that's a pretty massive and big deal in my opinion. So, that is going to be today's special breaking news report on Legacy Motor Club filing a temporary restraining order against Rick Ware. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What are your thoughts about the situation with Legacy and Rick Ware? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win the lawsuit against Legacy and Rick Ware? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In a couple hours from now, you're going to see the video on race picks for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Bristol. Tomorrow on the channel, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We're also probably going to have the paint scheme video, and then, of course, on Friday, we should have another NASCAR news video dropping as well if news breaks on Thursday and the next couple days as well. We're also going to have content coming out on people like Haley D and SVG, Carl Lawrence, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Amazon Prime. There's a Dale Jr. download coming out soon with details probably about the double once again with Amazon Prime as well. Also, case out Logan Paul with the Prime stuff with Kyle Larson, Clay Farland, Matt DiBenedetto, Frankie Muniz, Sam Marischal, the Creed, Connor Zillich, all the good stuff we'll be talking about on the channel over the course of the next couple days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.